I'm gonna act like he's here. This is the S to the K to the double E to the T to the R. I'm sitting in the studio with the double D, I-E, Eddie.
That's me.
And over here to my right, I got Pastor L-L-O-P-E-R in the studio.
Hey.
And this is Gwen G.Q. Clemens. And baby, you are listening to the Unleashed Voice for the LGBTQ Community Radio Show here on AM 990 KWAM Talk Radio. The mission of our show is to be the premier soundboard for the LGBTQ community, where we employ 3 E core principles: education, empowerment, and enrichment. And we hope that today, while you are tuned in to our radio show, that you will be affirmed, uplifted, and find some celebration in your humanness, in your life.
Celebrate everybody.
Yeah, come on.
Here we go now.
Hey, we got a dynamic show in the studio for you all today. I want you to call your friends and tell them they need to tune in for some awesomeness. AM 990, or go to www.relationshipunleashed.com. You can live stream us in the studio and see all this sexy in here.
We fine today.
Yeah, I got it going on. I don't know about y'all.
So, hey, I am so excited to have this person in the studio. You know, it's not often that we get people in here that I just really, really admire. And I consider her a great friend. We've done some work together. I want to introduce Radio Land to the one and only Reverend Cyd Andrews-Looper.
Woo!
Well, you know, I'm going to let you take the honor away from me and go ahead and just toot your horn for a minute.
Well, all right. Wang, wang. Okay. I have been in ministry for a little over 20 years now. I founded and pastored a church in Nashville called Holy Trinity. And I left there in 2014 to start my own ministry called Ignite Your Soul Now. I recently published a book, but I'm in the process of actually having it republished because I really needed a new publisher, and so that is in process. But, you know, I am an LGBTQ minister and have been ministering in the LGBTQ community for about 19 years.
Wow.
And so just aware, you know, of just a lot of the woundedness that's going on. My book is basically my life story. The title is Two Pews from Crazy, My Insane Journey from Christian Fundamentalism to a Faith of Love Alone. And I grew up very conservative Baptist, and you know, really thought I was going to hell for many, many years, until I started, in the quiet space of my heart, started listening to God instead of them. You know, and that made all the difference in the world. And so as I grew deeper in my own faith, I was able to, it was a passion of getting that good news out, and it still is really. And the book, you know, I basically just kind of give an overview of my life and some of the losses. I was asked to leave a denomination because I was gay, and that was a difficult journey. But through it all, God has been there, and God has called me at times to step out in blind faith where you had no idea what the future held, but God was saying go. And you know, stories of just God's faithfulness of when I was obedient, how God just manifested and gave me what I needed. And you know, where I find myself today is I am the core of who I am. The foundation of my faith is Christian, and I'm a follower of Christ. But I also have done extensive study of the universal laws, the laws of attraction, laws of vibrational frequency, laws of intention, all those kinds of things. And so the books to come are going to begin to parallel the teachings of Jesus and those laws, because I think those laws have been kind of categorized as quote unquote like New Age, and so many people are fearful. So many Christians are fearful of them when the fact is it's truth. I mean, like
Exactly.
quantum physics supports it, you know.
Right.
And it's true. It works. It you know, we attract what we're experiencing. We attract that into our lives, and so learning to use those laws in a way that are life-giving can absolutely transform your life and transform the world in which we live. But I am locally here. I am the consulting pastor at Holy Trinity Memphis, and I've been there since June. Been leading a church growth campaign and preparing them in this transition to receive a full-time pastor. And so that's kind of, I work for CPR, that's the Center for Progressive Renewal. They're based out of Atlanta. And so I now do consulting work with them, but I also am an author and speaker. I travel and speak, and I do interviews when I have opportunities and that kind of thing. So, but my message is about love, and the core of my faith is just that. It's love alone. You can't add to it. You can't take from it. It's just about love alone.
Reverend Looper, isn't it like really, really empowering when you find your power base?
Oh my gosh, yes. Yes, it is. One of the things, when people ask me about my faith and all that, I take them to Matthew where Jesus says, that all of the law can be summed up in love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, body, and love your neighbor as yourself. Many ministers start with the whole love your God. I start with that very last, as yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because the reality is this: we cannot love ourselves until we begin to see God as love.
Mm-hmm.
You see, we can't approach this. So many of us grew up with this concept of God as this judge, this harsh judge that's just like ready to pounce on us at every turn. And so we live in this fear-based world, spiritually and otherwise. And again, based on the law of attraction, we just attract more of that into our lives. But from a spiritual standpoint, when we see God as this harsh judge, there's no way we can get close to that. There's no way. And the thing is, the highest and holiest title that any of us can carry is not reverend, is not doctor, is not attorney, or it is beloved child of God, period. Beloved child of God. And the only way we can see ourselves as beloved children of God is we have got to see God as the very essence of love alone, period. Love. And the thing is, when we get a hold of that, we can come close to that. We can approach that, and we can begin to define ourselves in that relationship. We can climb up into God's lap, and be that son or daughter, that little girl, that little boy. And every one of us, I don't care how old you are, every one of us has a little girl and a little boy who desperately needs to climb up into the lap of God and be loved.
You're absolutely.
And we know we ain't got one.
You are absolutely correct. And
Now my little girl's a little crazy.
I too. That name Lil Boy, you do not want to meet him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This kind of crazy too.
We have. I want the callers to call in at 260-90-5926, area code 901-260-5926, to get in on this conversation, to ask Reverend Looper anything you want to ask her relevant to her book or what she just told you about her ministry, and any problem that you may have that you're having dealing with your religion and understanding that God loves you. But right now we have to take a quick commercial break. A pause for the cause. This is our first break. So you are listening to the Unleashed Voice on AM 990 KWAM Talk Radio. Do not change that dial.
Don't change it.
We'll be right back.